From the earliest moments of human history, a profound and primal fear has shaped our behavior: the fear of being rejected, excluded, or abandoned. For our ancestors, being cast out from the tribe could be a death sentence, making social acceptance not just a preference, but a matter of survival. This ancient fear has evolved over millennia, transforming in the modern world into what psychologists and social scientists recognize as a deep-seated need for social approval. Today, this manifests in a multitude of ways, from seeking likes and validation on social media to constantly measuring ourselves against peers and societal standards. The fundamental drive to be accepted persists in subtle, pervasive forms, influencing choices, relationships, and self-perception in ways many of us are barely aware of. From early childhood, we are conditioned to conform, to behave in ways that earn praise, avoid criticism, and fit into predefined roles. Over time, this conditioning gives rise to a tension between who we truly are and the persona we project outwardly. Donald Winnicott described this as the creation of the false self, a construct built primarily to gain approval from others. Similarly, Carl Jung's concept of the persona reflects the mask we wear to navigate social expectations and interactions. Both theories converge on a simple truth: when we shape ourselves primarily to please others, we gradually drift from our authentic core, creating a sense of inner emptiness and subtle, persistent dissatisfaction. Even as we accumulate achievements, praise, or status, there is a quiet sense that something essential is missing. History provides powerful examples of individuals who faced this fear and chose authenticity over comfort, often at great personal cost. Galileo, whose observations and conclusions challenged centuries of established belief, endured condemnation, ridicule, and isolation. Winston Churchill repeatedly doubted and mocked before rising to become one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century, illustrates a similar trajectory. These examples highlight what can be called the courage of being unpopular, the willingness to endure social disapproval in service of truth, principle, or long-term vision. The paradox is striking. Those who make the most profound impact in their fields often must confront periods of intense criticism, rejection, or misunderstanding. This is not a flaw or weakness, but a hallmark of venturing beyond the familiar zone of comfort and conformity. True courage, then, is not the absence of fear. It is the deliberate decision to act despite fear. It requires resisting the deeply ingrained instinct to shrink in the face of judgment, and instead pursuing actions aligned with one's values and principles. Each act of courage reinforces the individual's sense of self, building resilience and tolerance for the discomfort that comes with authenticity. Understanding this dynamic is essential for anyone seeking personal growth, meaningful connections, or a life aligned with their own values. It illuminates why so many people feel trapped by societal expectations even while appearing outwardly successful or free. The pressure to conform, to meet perceived standards, and to maintain approval continues to shape choices, often without conscious awareness, creating a subtle, ongoing tension between external validation and internal truth. The modern implications of this ancient fear are profound, touching nearly every aspect of our lives. When we constantly shape our behavior to meet the expectations of others, we risk suppressing our true selves, cultivating what psychologists call existential anxiety, or a sense of emptiness. The false self may gain temporary approval, but it leaves a persistent void, a disconnection from the deep desires, passions, and purpose that constitute authentic living. Layered atop this is a cognitive bias known as the spotlight effect, the belief that our mistakes, awkward moments, or idiosyncrasies are noticed far more than they actually are. In reality, others are largely preoccupied with their own lives and concerns. Recognizing this discrepancy can be profoundly liberating. Understanding that the world is not constantly scrutinizing us provides the freedom to act authentically, to take creative risks, and to pursue genuine interests without paralyzing fear of judgment. Reclaiming the true self requires conscious effort, observing one's own motivations, questioning actions driven primarily by the desire for approval, and incrementally practicing authentic behavior. Simple strategies include expressing honest opinions, exploring personal interests without concern for popularity, and spending time in environments that nurture genuine connection and acceptance. Over time, These practices cultivate inner authority, autonomy, and confidence. Freedom is not the absence of external pressures, but mastery over how much they dictate our decisions. Each step toward authenticity reduces the influence of the false self, strengthens resilience, and fosters a deeper sense of joy. Embracing the courage to be unpopular, understanding the limited attention others actually pay to us, and cultivating our authentic identity can transform both our internal experience and the impact we have on the world. Real freedom emerges when we no longer allow fear of rejection to determine our choices, and when we actively align our daily lives with our deepest values and sense of purpose. Through this journey, authenticity becomes both the shield and the compass, guiding us toward meaningful relationships, purposeful work, and a life lived fully on our own terms. Ultimately, the path to true selfhood and freedom lies in facing the fear of social rejection, understanding its influence, and deliberately choosing to live in accordance with our genuine identity.